Hey, Raquel Dancho here, Member of Parliament for Kildonan and St. Paul and Shadow Minister for Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship, coming to you today from my home office. This is the only time I could fit in a weekly roundup, so we're going to do it more informal, a little short and sweet today. I want to lead you through some of the work I've been doing this week, and I'm going to Ottawa next week and give you a little bit of heads up of what's coming down the docket next week. It's going to be a great week in Ottawa. It's been 6 weeks since I've been back, so I'm pretty excited. So this week, I got to go on the Canada-China Committee and grill the Minister of Immigration concerning his announcement on Hong Kong. And I talked about this to you a little bit. If you're paying attention to the news, you, of course, have seen over the last couple of years what China has been doing to Canada and what China has been doing to Hong Kong. And you'll remember what I mentioned in my last video. Hong Kong, experiences really the same freedoms that we have in Canada. They're well-educated, they're a wealthy country, and those freedoms that we experience on a daily basis are being stripped away from Hong Kongers. And again, there's 300,000 Canadians that are living in Hong Kong, and it's incredibly alarming to see this happening to a democracy in the world. And the Liberal solution to this was an announcement a couple weeks ago, and we thought it was going to be something for pro-democracy activists. Again, if you're in Hong Kong right now and you're speaking up against the Chinese communist regime, they will arrest you, throw you in jail, take your travel documents. People are going missing. It is unbelievable what is happening in Hong Kong right now, and it's getting worse. They just kicked out 4 democratically elected officials because they were speaking up too strongly against China. It's nuts. And so the Liberal solution to this was an announcement for economic immigration, which is great. We definitely want the world's best and the brightest, but this is now a humanitarian crisis that's going on in Hong Kong. And their announcements for work permits and study permits really only apply to folks who've been to university in the last 5 years. So if you're a high schooler or if you're older at all, it's nothing for you. And they're talking, oh, we have a grandparents and parents program and we have an asylum program. Great, but that applies to everywhere. And so there was really nothing tangible for anyone outside of that small economic immigration announcement that they made, but they were parading it around as they do as the solution for Hong Kong and those that want to flee oppression. So I was really tough on him in the committee. You'll see in my video below, in my Facebook page or on my email subscription list, you'll be able to check it out. I was not going easy on him. And the reason is I only get that 11 minutes and 2 blocks to question the Minister of Immigration on behalf of all Canadians concerning their announcement to Hong Kong. And their announcement fell flat. And beyond that, I made sure to question him, and you'll find this, I think, important. You may have seen what China is doing on Canadian soil to Canadians. They are sending Chinese communist operatives to intimidate Chinese Canadians on Canadian soil, on our college campuses. They're intimidating them in their own homes. They're calling and harassing them. It's unbelievable what is happening on Canadian soil. It's unacceptable. It's almost like something out of a movie, but this is happening to Canadians. And so how do a lot of these Chinese operatives get into Canada? Well, through the system of immigration that we have. So I was grilling him on what is he doing to stop these communist operatives from getting onto Canadian soil and intimidating Canadians in their own homes and their children on campuses from publicly funded universities, no less. What is he doing for that? And he gave some, surface level comments. Oh, if there's any espionage reported, we take this very seriously. Well, clearly it's not working because this is getting worse. Like, really, Google it. Google Operation Fox Hunt. You will be shocked what the Chinese are doing to Canadians and the freedoms they are trying to take away on our own soil. If you are a Chinese Canadian or really anybody connected to the Chinese Canadian community, and you're speaking up against what's going on in China, human rights abuses, we can go on, chances are you're going to get intimidated by a Chinese operative and threatened, and they're going to threaten your family back home. It is nuts. So as a result, I wasn't pulling any punches, and I was being very firm on him. What is he doing to stop this in his own department? And he wouldn't really answer. It was really just a very surface level. It was just very disappointing. What I wanted to hear was that he was going to tell me and tell Canadians that he's going to do everything in his power to ensure that Chinese communist operatives are not getting onto Canadian soil to intimidate Canadians in our own country. That's what I wanted to hear. That would have been leadership. Nothing like that. So with reason and with that in mind, I was very tough on him. And so I'll let you watch that and you be the judge of that, but it is my job on behalf of all Canadians to hold him to account, and I only had 11 minutes to do that. So it's interesting. It's an interesting process questioning these ministers because really their goal is to say as little as possible and to not screw up. When really their goal should be to show leadership and that they take these matters extremely seriously and they're going to do everything in their tremendous power to keep Canadians safe. And remember, other countries are doing a heck of a lot more against China than we are. This government has been timid on all fronts. They've done the bare minimum. And in this recent Hong Kong announcement, it's almost as if they wanted to see what's the bare minimum we could do so we don't piss off Beijing and China. And that's what their announcement was, the bare minimum. And, we have a lot at stake. Of course, 4% of our trade is with China. But you know what? The Australians trade, a third of their trade is with China. They're much more interdependent on China than we are. And they are way stronger on telling China where to put it, so to speak. So why can't we be tough? I think Canadians are sick and tired of being pushed around by the Chinese government concerning all matters that we're seeing on the national international front. We're tired of it. And we're even seeing the government, actually, this is really great. I'll leave you with this. We triumphantly passed a motion in the House of Commons this week that made it so that the Liberal government would have to come up with a plan in 30 days about Huawei. Remember, that's a Chinese-run telecommunications that's setting up their telecommunications all over Canada. And a lot of countries are saying, nope, we are not having this they're treating it almost like spyware. We're not having this on our Canadian soil. And you know what? TELUS bought this Huawei equipment and put it in our national capital region. Like in Ottawa, there's little Huawei things all over our national capital region, and where we're talking about defense and security and all the Prime Minister's office, everything. And there's Huawei devices all over Ottawa. They've been saying, we're going to make a decision on Huawei. That's in process. It's been 2 years. Let's go. The UK's done it. Australia's done it. Most of the Five Eyes have done it. Like, where are we at on this? Can we make a decision, please? So we passed that motion, and that motion also called on them to be way tougher concerning the Chinese operatives that are intimidating Canadians on our own soil. We need a plan on that. We need leadership on that. That's enough of this. So anyway, get pretty heated up because I am a patriot, Canadian patriot, and this is unacceptable what's happening. So I'm going to continue to support our Conservative colleagues on this, particularly on the immigration front, because that is my role. And stay tuned for next week because I'm questioning the Minister of Immigration at Immigration Committee this time on Wednesday. I'm also questioning the Auditor General concerning the Auditor General's report about the 30,000 illegal border crossers. You'll remember when this was happening before the pandemic, they were crossing the border, illegally, or as Liberals say, irregularly. And the federal government's lost track of 30,000 of them. So I'm going to be questioning the Auditor General about their findings in that regard. Up in the House a lot next week, asking questions, doing various speeches on things, doing quite a bit of media. So stay tuned. It's going to be an exciting week, long week, and can't wait to come back with more updates next week. So stay tuned. Take care.